Welcome. Today we explore the quiet beauty of time. How aging transforms a garden into something deeper, more soulful. The philosophy of Wabi-Sabi Garden design teaches us to find beauty in imperfection, in weathered stone, in rusting metal, in fading leaves. Let's walk through a space where nothing is new. And that's exactly the point. Imagine an old wooden bench, its grain rough with years, its edges softened by rain in Japanese garden aging. This isn't decay, it's character. The bench doesn't apologize for its years. It rests beneath a maple tree, quietly aging with grace. A moss-covered lantern leans just slightly to one side. Time has shifted its foundation, but it hasn't been straightened. In Wabi-Sabi Garden thinking, that lean is a gesture of story. It shows that this space has been lived in, honored, and left undisturbed. Look to the stones, pitted, darkened, irregular. Their surfaces hold rain, like old hands catching dew. This is the essence of rustic garden ideas, not to smooth the stone, but to let nature finish the sculpture. Wabi and Sabi are not trends, they're seasons of the soul. A weathered fence with lichen creeping up the posts isn't something to replace, it's something to treasure. The fence has seen seasons you've forgotten. Japanese garden aging invites rust into the story. A forgotten metal spout, flecked with orange-brown, spills rain into a stone basin. The sound is soft, the look is imperfect, but it feels like memory, familiar, quiet, and deep. Clay pots, chipped at the lip, once vibrant, now dulled by sun and soil. In a Wabi-Sabi garden, they're not removed. They're revered. Their flaws remind us of the hands that shaped them, the gardens they've belonged to, the years they've stood. Imagine a wooden gate that creaks as it swings. Some would oil the hinges, but in a rustic garden idea, that creak is music, a reminder that even silence has texture when paired with time. Leaves are allowed to fall and rest. They're not raked immediately. This isn't neglect, it's respect. The garden accepts the end of a leaf's journey. In Japanese garden aging, every stage of decay has a role in the story. A bamboo water spout darkens with age. Its surface wears streaks from decades of flow. In that aging, the object becomes part of the earth again. That is Wabi-Sabi garden beauty. Natural, slow, unforced. A stone pathway breaks in one spot. It's not replaced. Instead, moss grows into the crack, softening the flaw. The brokenness invites softness. This is how rustic garden ideas honor both time and nature. In spring, a wisteria vine clings to a rusty trellis. The blossoms and the metal tell two sides of a story, new and old. Japanese garden aging doesn't separate the two. It weaves them together. The paint on a wooden lantern peels gently in the sun. No one repaints it. In a Wabi-Sabi Garden, healing paint isn't ugliness, it's vulnerability. It shows us how beauty peeks through, even as layers fall away. In a corner, an old stone Buddha sits, half covered in moss. The details of the face are fading, but the expression, soft, eternal, remains. This is the gift of aging, presence, without demand. Gravel doesn't need to be perfectly raked every day. A few footsteps, a fallen petal, these marks show life. In rustic garden ideas, neatness is not the goal. Liveliness is. The fence leans a little with time. A knot of ivy curls around it. The imperfection creates intimacy. In Japanese garden aging, balance is found in asymmetry, in the unpredictable beauty of change. A ceramic basin collects rain. Over time, a green ring of algae forms inside. Many would scrub it clean. But in a Wabi-Sabi garden, this ring becomes the basin's signature. A quiet embrace of nature's touch. A once pruned pine now grows wild, its shape no longer manicured. The branches twist toward the sun. In aging, the garden reclaims its freedom. It stops performing, it simply is. You notice rust on the edge of a lantern. A spider has made a web beneath. In rustic garden ideas, this is not an intrusion. It's a layering, a reminder that life continues. Not in spite of decay, but because of it. A faded wind chime no longer sings clearly. Its tones are subtle, sometimes silent, yet when the wind does move it, the sound is soft, like memory in Wabi-Sabi Garden design. Even silence is part of the music. pile of fallen leaves gathers in the corner. The garden doesn't rush to clear them. In Japanese garden aging, time gathers. Softly, let the leaves stay for a while. Let the garden breathe with the season. An old stone basin shows hairline cracks. These aren't flaws. They're veins of history. They hold rainwater like stories. In Wabi-Sabi Garden thinking, cracks are not endings. They're open doors. A small wooden bridge no longer shines. The wood is gray with age, but solid underfoot. It speaks of reliability, of years passed quietly in rustic garden ideas. You honor what remains, not mourn what's lost. The garden's light changes over the years. A tree grows taller, casting new shadows. Paths darken, corners brighten. In Japanese garden aging, nothing is static. Beauty is found in shifting moments. A lantern is half buried in soil after decades. It wasn't moved. It wasn't forgotten. It simply became part of the land. Wabi-Sabi Garden design is not about preservation. It's about participation with time. Ivy covers a stone marker. Slowly, each season, a little more disappears beneath green. The marker doesn't resist. It accepts. This acceptance is the essence of rustic garden ideas. Beauty fades, and in fading, deepens. A wooden post has split where rain collects. Inside the crack, moss has grown. The decay became a cradle. In Japanese garden aging, life reclaims what is breaking, and that return is sacred. There is no perfect symmetry here. Stones are out of line. Walls tilt, but the feeling is whole. Wabi-Sabi Garden beauty is not architectural, it's emotional. It's the feeling of rightness within imperfection. A forgotten corner of the garden becomes the most peaceful. No one tended it, but it aged on its own terms. That wildness, that quiet, that dignity, that is Wabi-Sabi Garden in full bloom. Thank you for walking through time with me today. In a world that often chases the new, a garden that honors age, gives us grounding. May your own garden reflect not just youth, but depth. Like, subscribe, and return again for more stories whispered by moss and memory.